Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished Crystal Palace nil, Liverpool 7, and the goals are flowing in that second half. The four goals in that second half, and it's a brilliant, dominant performance from Liverpool. And there's so much to discuss, so much to talk about, just in terms of what Liverpool's performance was. And let's get into it. Let's talk about it because. The game started out. They got an early goal from Takumi Minamino, and I actually was thinking last week, what is the purpose of Minamino? Because I thought he was pretty not so good against, well, he was pretty bad against Fulham. He didn't really offer much, and he obviously didn't play against Spurs, but got one out today and scores a goal in the fourth minute. A nice, well taken goal, very well done with a nice dummy, and then he scores it in. But after that, there was a bit of 15-20 minute period where Crystal Palace were kind of on top and they had Liverpool on the ropes. And that was as good as it got. There was this moment where Jordan Ayew, it's a simple cutback that he should have, executed perfectly for Wilfred Zaha to score, but instead he puts it behind. And after that, then it just all fell apart. It all just fell to pieces. And I said, and at halftime it was 3-0, and I thought Liverpool are going to win this 4-0, 5-0. They'll kind of take it. They'll kind of take their foot off the gas, but they didn't. They just kept going. And to their credit, it could have easily been 8 or 9-0 because I think Mane and Minamino had two pretty good chances that they put wide. So it could have been much worse for Palace, but finished this 7-0. Some stunning goals, I thought. In that play, and I thought the second goal was brilliant from Mane. He needed that. You could see it on his face. He hadn't scored for a while, so he was feeling very happy that he scored it. Then Firmino scoring that third goal, and here's the thing that we'll talk about later, the few key individual aspects as well on that one that I noticed when he scored that goal was a brilliant layoff for Robertson, who again puts in a nice cross and he scores. Then Henderson scores a peach in the second half. And I thought in the first half, Palace hadn't actually played that badly. When you look at the whole context of that half, they actually played pretty well. They had Liverpool on the ropes for a bit. They were doing exactly what Fulham were doing, where they were pushing up against, their front four was pushing up against Liverpool's back four, and they were causing them problems. But unlike Fulham, who got the goal eventually, Liverpool, the Crystal Palace didn't get it, and so then eventually Liverpool grew into the game. They came into the game, and then I think that third goal for me, that it just knocked everything out of the stuffing out of Palace. I think they just came out in that second half. You kind of could see the body language had gone down. They felt defeated. They looked defeated. It was almost as if Hodgson had said, you know what, just try and keep the score down. Let's try and see this one out. And that never works. Against Liverpool, you can't expect to see out a game against Liverpool. You've got to keep doing what do you do? And we saw it with Fulham as well. They kept going deeper and deeper and deeper, and they let Liverpool back in the game. It's hard to do it because of the intensity and the energy that's required, but that's the only way teams are going to win or beat Liverpool, is just by pushing up against that back four. And Villa showed it in some ways as well, where they went really hard in that first half and they got a few goals. If you take your chances and you get your goals, you get a bit lucky with the deflections. You have a bit of you have Adrian in goal. There's an opportunity for you to try and win the game. But against Alisson, that's a false. It's very difficult to just run away with the game in the first half. And but in the second half they just defeated, and just the goals kept going in. There was the fourth. Henderson put in a wonderful finish. Then there was Firmino with the fifth goal. Again, brilliant play all around, and then Salah finishing it off at 2 at the end there. So 7-0 it finished, and there are a few key takeaways from this game. Though the scoreline, I don't think it flatters Liverpool. I think it was a pretty clinical, pretty ruthless performance. But just that first half, and in some patches in the second half, there are a few observations that I had. The first observation that I had, and we'll start with the negatives first. So we'll end on a positive note. We'll take the negatives first. I think that 20 minutes that Palace had against Liverpool, that is Liverpool's weakness. I think, and it's pretty clear that they cannot deal with, if the only way teams are going to win is if their front players, if the opposition's offensive players can push Liverpool's defense back, when they can put them on the back foot. Because Fabinho is not a natural centre half. Matip is still rusty. He's not exactly on Van Dijk's level. So there is an opportunity there where if you push them back, there might be some panic, there might be some confusion. There's a lack of communication. The issue, of course, is the goalkeeper. They've got the world's best goalkeeper in Alisson. Not according to FIFA, but according to me anyway, they've got the world's best goalkeeper. So it's hard to create chances and then score them. But but as long as they can push back the defense, they can cause trouble. The issue, of course, is doing it consistent. It's one thing to do it for 20 minutes, it's another to do it for 90 minutes, and that's difficult. But that is the one area of weakness that was there. But I mean, other than that, the only thing I guess was, I was talking about this, the substitutions as well. The Liverpool hopefully make all three subs because they're 3-0 up at halftime. They should use their quota of three subs. He did use it. I was a little bit surprised to see Salah playing, though, to be honest. I think when you're 4-0 up, 5-0 up, you really don't want to be, just let Salah have the rest. You basically said he's not good. You want to give him off time off. I know the 2 goals that he scored would be good for his confidence, but I mean, you didn't know, you don't need those kind of stat pads. You can just bring on somebody else, bring on a youngster, bring on, maybe Origi. This was a good game for Origi maybe to come into the team and get a couple of goals, get a goal for his own confidence. That's a minor criticism. Maybe Klopp feels because they don't have the midweek game in the Carabao Cup. He felt okay. I don't want him to be too out of touch and let him have this 20-30 minutes just to stay match fit. Um, Fair enough, but I mean that's just semantics at the end of the day. I don't think Liverpool fans will be complaining about that too much. But there's a lot of positives and a lot of observations on the positive side to take. The first thing I think is Roberto Firmino. He gets a lot of stick from people. Remember, I mean, we did the review show, and the others was pretty harsh on Roberto Firmino in the review show, and I remember that. But he's looked very good in the last couple of games. He scored the winner against Tottenham. He scored 2 goals today against Palace. So he's looking like he's getting back into form. I don't think most Liverpool fans ever thought he was out of form. I think it was just a case of him not being able to convert chances. But he's looking like he's getting on that run now. He's going to convert chances. So he's never going to be a 30 goal a season striker. I think he's one of those 15, 20, counting the cups, he's a 15 goal a season striker in the league. You'd probably expect him to get about 20 goals when you factor in all the competitions that Liverpool play. That's kind of where he's at, but his contribution is beyond just goals. What he creates in terms of chances, what he does in terms of his overall play, and letting Salah and Mane have the freedom in the forward areas. I think that's his contribution to the team. So I don't think anybody was too worried about it. But a wonderful performance for him. He was given the man of the match. I think it's hard to argue with that. I think he definitely deserved that man of the match award. I think it was pretty excellent. The other positive, I think, was the fact that Mane scored, which is great for him, obviously, considering all the issues that he's been having. I think Minamino scoring was another big positive as well, for Liverpool, because it's good, and that's good confidence for him. And that's why I was thinking, maybe Origi could have come in as well in the second half, maybe got a goal, grabbed a goal there, might have helped his confidence as well. But that's, again, as I said, that's small issues, small matters, and I don't think it matters much in the overall context of the game. The big thing, though, and this is something that I've been saying all along, I think Liverpool, much has been made of Liverpool's inconsistency, but the fact is now they're 6 points clear at the top. Sure, they play the game more. We've got City today, we've got Spurs tomorrow. The one key aspect, though, is the fact that they've now got their goal difference under control. That 7-2 against Villa had kind of skewed it, but now they've got that under control. With the win over Wolves, this one, they've now got that thing that they're not going to be dislodged on goal difference at this point, unless Spurs just go berserk in one of their games. They're not going to be held back on goal difference. So they fixed that, and I think that's a big positive for them as well, because that was a bit of a it's kind of like the sword hanging above your head kind of thing, where you feel a little bit of an issue, but. They're getting the goals today would have been really confidence boosting, as well as the fact that they kept a clean sheet, which is always hard to come by, especially having navigated that tough period against Palace in that 20-minute spell. I think that will give that defense a lot of confidence. That will give the entire team a lot of confidence. And through all of that, then we come to the big picture question, and that is, what's next? I mean, who's going to stop Liverpool? I mean, on the basis of that performance, the fact is Liverpool haven't been at their best. They weren't at their very best today in the first half. They were very good in the second half. They've not been at their best throughout the season. Any Liverpool fan would agree to that. They've not had some of the best players. They didn't have Van Dijk, Jota, and Thiago today, right? And they still managed to beat Palace 7-0. The same Palace that held Liverpool Spurs, who were supposed to be their closest challengers, they held them to a 1-1 draw. And and deservedly, they deserved that draw. It was not a lucky smash and grab, for Palace in that game. They actually deserved that draw. So all of that combined, when you're looking at it, and you can see how easily Liverpool pushed aside Palace. I mean, the question is, who's going to stop them? And I mean, I put this tweet out. I said, where's the challenge coming from? I mean, Spurs are way too defensive, and we'll see tomorrow as well. They're way too defensive in these sort of games. They're relying heavily on Kane and Son to bail them out, with the goals. There's not a lot of goals beyond those two in the team, and that's a fact. There isn't. It's a very defensive setup team. You've got City, who are absolutely inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get from them. You can same with Chelsea, very inconsistent. No idea what's going to happen to them. And then you can't. Leicester, if they were a challenge, they've been sorted aside. I don't think Saints, are going to provide, Southampton are going to provide much of a challenge either. I think they'll be top four contenders, just based on the fact of what they are at the moment. But you don't really see them challenging for the title. So where's that left? And Man United, just that's I laugh every time when somebody talks about Man United being title challengers. They're not. You'll see that in the next 4 or 5 games, 6 games, we'll see what Man United are made of. But I don't think they're title challengers. So where's that challenge coming from? It isn't, and that's what it is. Liverpool haven't been at their best, but the league is so average this season. It has been it was average last season. I think it's gotten worse this season for the teams outside of Liverpool. I think they've somehow managed to become worse. And that's shown in the Champions League. I mean, you can see United, went out, in the Champions League as well. So it's just it's a bit of a mess right now, I think. And it's not to take away from Liverpool. I think they're head and shoulders above everybody else. But there's no competition at this point. And even though people, and I know Liverpool fans be cautious. Oh no, we're still it's early days. And I get it. As a fan, we all do that. We all naturally pessimistic as fans. But the fact is, if as someone who's seen enough of football, I think at this point I wouldn't say Liverpool are nailed on for the title at this point, but it would take something pretty special even at this stage. Even though Liverpool are only with the games in hand, they're only 3 points clear of their nearest challenge. Let's assume that's it's dangerous to assume that Spurs will beat Leicester, and so let's just say they're 6 points clear at this stage of the season. It's going to take a monumental effort from anyone to dislodge Liverpool from the top. I just can't see it. I don't see it. Because more than that, I just don't see who's going to take points off of Liverpool, who can beat Liverpool, who can draw with, who can. I mean, Fulham did it, but it just takes. You need Liverpool to have off days. Will Liverpool have enough off days for somebody else to capitalize? And then will somebody else be able to capitalize on those off days? Because Liverpool had an off day against Fulham, but Spurs couldn't capitalize. They had their own off day. Same with Manchester City. So who's going to capitalize on the off days? So I mean, yeah, it's for me, it's a lane draw title. But anyway, great performance from Liverpool, absolutely perfect, and in every department today, absolutely perfect. I think Klopp will be absolutely pleased with that. And it's finished Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 7. Liverpool now 6 months clear of the top, although they do have a game they have played a game more than Spurs, so it could go back to 3 points tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. But we'll be back again in a little bit with the Manchester City Southampton game. We're going to be covering that. But congratulations to all the Liverpool fans. Enjoy the rest. You've now got a very good start. If you're watching this in the morning, like I am, you've enjoyed a great start to your weekend, and it's perfect. But just enjoy the rest of the weekend. If you're not going to do anything else, it's a great weekend now for you to enjoy. But hopefully we'll see you back again for the City game. So stay tuned for that, and I'll be back again. But in the meantime, have a good day, night, whatever time you're watching this, and see you soon.